Welcome to Sin City Kitchen. I'm Alicia Chevatone, and we are beating the Las Vegas heat today. I'm going to show you my recipe for my no-churn almond espresso ice cream, which also happens to star a special ingredient for my friends who are 21 and over. And I'm going to be using that no-churn ice cream in another dessert for my Double Down segment today called 21 Affogato. It is a fresh spin on a caffeinated Italian dessert called affogato, but you're going to love it because it's for adults only, and this is Sin City Kitchen. Well, homemade ice cream is something very special, and I never even attempted to make it until I got my husband an ice cream maker that's electric. Last year, we love to use it. It works beautifully, but you do have to remember to freeze the base, and sometimes I forget to do that. So in that particular case, I like to make my own no-churn ice cream, which is what I'm going to show you today, my almond espresso no-churn ice cream. And it actually starts with whipped cream. I started the process of whipping some heavy cream here. And what I'm going to do to actually bump up a little bit of the almond flavor is to put a little bit of almond extract in. And you can buy this at any grocery store, just like vanilla extract, except it's obviously derived from almonds. And then it really makes the dish extra special. The next step is to fold in some sweetened condensed milk. And this is actually what gives the ice cream its structure. So I'm going to pour this in, and then what we're gonna do is essentially fold it in to try to maintain as much of the volume as we can of this beautifully whipped cream. And this is a technique called folding, where you're trying to drag your spatula or your spoon from the bottom of the dish to the top, while also twirling the spatula or the spoon to incorporate and mix everything together, but try to maintain some of the volume that you've actually built in by whipping it. The next step is to add some of our 21 Martinis espresso liqueur. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this ingredient later and how it actually comes from Vegas. It was born in Vegas, which is super important to me to be able to work with local purveyors. And I'm going to spoon in just a little bit, or pour in, I guess there's no spoon. I'm going to pour in a little bit of it, 1/3 at a time. And again, use that same folding technique so that we're maintaining the volume of the cream and of the sweetened condensed milk, but also incorporating that great flavor of this Martini espresso liqueur. And the final step really is just to run the mixer one more time, give it another whip for another minute or two, just to make sure that we keep that volume super high before we transfer it to our dish and get it ready for the freezer. Come right back with me and you'll see the next step and it all wrap up together. So I have actually transferred my almond whipped mixture into a loaf pan that has an airtight container that I'm going to put on after I put in a little bit of garnishes here. And I like to use loaf pans for this. It kind of reminds me of traditional gelato. You can use an 8x8 pan if you have it, or even a deli container, as long as you have something that has a very tight fitting lid, because it's going to crash in the freezer for about 4 hours. So the next step to add our garnishes, I like to do a little drizzle of chocolate sauce. And then just to get that almond flavor home, some beautiful sliced almonds. And it's okay if you lose a little bit of volume. The main thing is going to be how it tastes, right? And to make sure that it freezes up and firms up properly. But just like you see when you go to a gelateria, I want to make sure that I'm swirling all the ingredients and that it looks pretty. So one of the ways to do that is to take a skewer just like this and use a figure-8 motion to help bring that chocolate down more towards the middle and start to submerge some of those beautiful sliced almonds. And then once they're actually a little bit more embedded into that whipped almond mixture, you can do another little drizzle of nuts on top. And why not? Just a little bit more chocolate syrup because we can, right? I'm gonna get a lid on this, freeze it for 4 hours. And I'm actually next going to introduce you to Angelo Botley of 21 Martinis and actually bring him into the kitchen so I can show him how to use my no-churn almond espresso ice cream into a great double down recipe called 21 Affogato. You are not gonna wanna miss this. Come on back.
Promotional consideration brought to you in part by
Welcome back, everybody. Alicia with Sin City Kitchen, and in the kitchen with me today is co-founder of 21 Martinis, Angelo Botley. Welcome, Angelo. Tell us what we need to know about 21 Martinis, your company.
Thank you. 21 Martinis came to be my business partner one night, who's a player in my room that I bartend, came in a little tired one evening and asked me, "Hey, Angelo, how about you make me an espresso? Something to wake me up." Mm-hmm. And of course, he assumed, like every other bartender, I would make him a vodka Red Bull. But instead, I made him a beautiful espresso martini.
That's fantastic. Well, I tell you, I'm such a fan that I made 2 desserts out of it. Actually, technically 3 if you count the loaf that I made. That was absolutely spectacular, and I would have shown it today, except I ate it.
Yeah.
So we're going to come right back. You're going to double down with me, and I'm going to show you 21 Affogato. It's time to double down with my 21 Affogato. Angelo, have you ever had affogato?
No, but I believe I'm about to.
You're about to. Affogato actually is Italian for drowned in coffee, is what it means. And so I'm going to use the no-churn almond espresso ice cream that I made with 21 Martinis espresso, and I'm going to make an affogato with it. So in this glass here, I have a couple of scoops, which are actually already starting to melt because, hey, it's Vegas after all, in these 2 martini glasses. In this glass, I have a combination of coffee and 21 espresso, just to bump up that coffee flavor, just a little bit to give a nod to the original affogato. And then I'm gonna pour it over and drown that ice cream in coffee. For each of us. And because I can't leave well enough alone and I have to garnish everything, I'm gonna put a little bit of grated chocolate over the top. Actually a lot, right? Looks like a lot.
Never too much chocolate.
Never too much.
Never too much.
Never
chocolate.
too much. And then, just to make sure that people understand that there's almond in here, because people do have nut allergies.
Sure.
We're going to put a little bit of almond on top. And then I'm going to set you loose with a spoon. And we're going to taste it together, and you're going to tell me what you think, Angelo.
Sure.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, Vegas. Sin City Kitchens. This is amazing.
I'm so glad you like it.
My goodness. This
Another
is
happy
amazing.
customer. Well, he's going to finish eating. I'm going to finish eating. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Sin City Kitchen. Make sure to follow me on Dane Cuisine, on Instagram, and all social media. And I do hope to see you at one of my pop-ups right here in Las Vegas.